to do this one way, and I can't hear. So maybe if someone could let me in the chat know when to start my chat, then that would be fantastic. Oh, okay. Thanks, Brea. So we are doing what we can with technical difficulties today. So I can't, unfortunately, see or hear anyone, but I think you can hear and see me, hopefully. So the plan is for me to just give a little update on elections and then answer some questions if you all have them. And I think that we can do that through the chat. I'll do my best. And we'll just roll with this. So the first thing that I'm going to do is go through the election and some important dates, and then give you an update on absentee and some changes that have happened for this election. And then I will open up to answer any questions. So first things first, general election information. There's 3 things that you can do to get ready for voting. One is registering, and make sure you do that by October 14th. And you can do that, you have to do that via form. We need wet signatures on registration forms. And you can download that form from our website or come into our office to get them. And you need to make sure you turn that in by October 14th. Make sure that you sign that. If you do miss the deadline, there is early voting. You can same day register and vote during the early voting period, which is October 20th through the 5th. It's always good to look up your information online at the voter information tool. You can confirm your personal information, such as your address. And you can also review your sample ballot there. That is very helpful for you to understand what's on the ballot, and then also be prepared to vote when you do. And then, of course, choose which way you'd like to vote. There's many options in North Carolina. So you can vote absentee by mail, which you are able to request now through November 1st. You have to fill out a request form, and you can do that through an online portal on our website or via form. And you will then get your ballot in the mail. We've been mailing out ballots since September 9th. North Carolina is the first in the nation to start voting in any general election, so that's pretty exciting. And you can either mail it back or drop it off in person at our office or at an early voting location. Again, early voting is October 20th through November 5th, and it's October already, so we are nearing that period really quickly here. You can vote at any of the early voting locations, and you can use our wait map online on our website to see how many people are in line at any of those voting locations to help you decide what is most convenient to you. And then, of course, Election Day is November 8th. Polls are open from 6:30 to 7:30, and you can find, unlike early voting, you've got to go to your assigned polling location on Election Day. And you can find that information also at that voter information tab on our website. And of course, you can always visit or call our office. We're happy to see anyone. So that is the general information about the election. During early voting, that is our most popular voting method. More than half of voters vote early in Buncombe County, and that's kind of a national trend that people are voting early. We have 12 voting locations this time, mostly at libraries, and then the rest at community centers across Buncombe County. And you can find those locations on our website. As far as absentee, or as far as changes this election, we have a few. Starting in the primary, a new district was added. So the City of Asheville School District, it used to be an appointed district, and it's converting to an elected district. So that's a new thing that you'll see on the ballot. There was also a change for felon registration. So as long as you are not incarcerated and otherwise eligible to vote, you can register to vote, even if you have not completed all the felony requirements, just as long as you are not incarcerated. The Green Party also became an official party this year, And so that's another option for registration. And then just an update on voting so far, since voting has started with absentee by mail. We've had 5,319 requests. That is more requests than we had in 2018, which is the last comparable election. But we really expect that with 2020 having made absentee by mail much more popular. And we've had 568 of those come back so far. Tomorrow actually is our first absentee meeting. So we will gather at 3:30 tomorrow, and that's a public meeting. You can come in person or go on our website and watch that meeting online and see the first ballots get reviewed and pre-processed for counting on election day. Okay, so those are kind of my updates, and we can talk about any topics that you would like to. I know there's a various topics of interest in this election, so we can talk about any of those. So to take questions, I'll need to see some things in the chat, or Bob can mediate.
Yes, if you have questions, type them into the chat.
So there is a question: are the dates you mentioned in the same? Are they the same in every county? So yes, they are the same in every county. Early voting dates are the same. The things that are different for early voting between each county are the number of sites and then the specific weekend hours. So during the week, all sites have to be open the same period, but we can choose how many our board is the one who chooses that, how many sites there are. And then what weekend hours there are. So in Buncombe County, we are open Saturday the 29th and Sunday the 30th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then on the last Saturday, every site across the state is open on the 5th from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Otherwise, all of the registration deadlines, when absentee requests are due, all of those are the same across the state. So we got a question on the rules for photo ID. So the lawsuit that has been up since 2016 and continuing for photo ID is still not concluded. So the election will run as it has, with no photo ID requirement. The only time that you might see someone ask for photo ID is if, when they registered, they did not provide a proof of identity. So that doesn't need to be photo ID, but it does need to be some type of ID that shows their name and address as proof of residency. But that's pretty rare. That usually gets caught before voting occurs. So as far as broadly, there's no photo ID requirement.
Thank you, Corrine. Yeah, we can hear you. Thank you very much. I know it's a little awkward with our technical difficulties this morning. What happens if I go to vote and I'm told that that's not the right place to vote, or where can I find that information again on my correct precinct? Oh,
okay.
Still having technical difficulties, y'all. I apologize.
So maybe, can you type that into the chat?
I sure wish I could see everybody.
Technology
Okay,
is,
so we have a question on where do I find a precinct? The best way to find your precinct is by going online to buncombecounty.org and /vote, and I'm going to open that right now so I can walk through it. And actually, I wonder if I could attempt to share my screen here. All right, I'm going to try to share my screen. Hopefully you all can see that. So I'm going to go to the Board of Elections website that looks like this. And we can talk about, there's all kinds of things on our website. But here is where you will go to this voter information tab. It's voter information, and we put sample ballots on there so that people can find that. And you type in your information here. I am the only Corrine Duncan in the whole state of North Carolina. So we should be able to find me pretty easily, but you can search by year of birth and county if you wanted. And you have to prove that you're not a robot. And then you'll find a list. There's often will be multiple names in this list, and you choose the one that is you. And this will give your information. So it'll have your name and your address and your status. So you can kind of look through all of the things. And it will also tell you about your precinct and all of the districts that you are in. And then here, your voting location. So this is my voting location on election day. So if I chose to vote on election day, that would be my voting location, the Asheville Senior Opportunity Center. And what's kind of neat about that is you can click on that and it'll give you additional information. So it'll have pictures of the polling location, and it will also just kind of have general information about where the Board of Elections is, our phone number, and another link to your sample ballot. If you go back, you will also see your sample ballot here. And then it also talks about your voting history. So you can see all of the elections that you voted in the past. And to view your sample ballot, you just click on the link and it'll bring the PDF up for you to be able to study all of the contests that you're eligible to vote on. Okay, this is great. Outside of Buncombe County, contact your board of, yes. So if you don't live in Buncombe County, you contact your own Board of Elections. That voter information tool is a state tool, so you should be able to find that no matter what county you live in. There is a question about provisions for handicapped voters. So that's true. That's another change that was made in this election. So a lawsuit was brought against the state of North Carolina about voter assistance rules. And what came out of that was that if you are disabled by the legal definition for North Carolina, then anyone can assist you in requesting or voting an absentee by mail ballot. We still have MAT teams, the multi-partisan assistance teams that go out upon request to assisted living facilities to help those people request and turn in an absentee ballot. All of our services are still there. Anyone can use those services. The law just changed so that it removed some restrictions on who could assist a voter with a disability.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Corrine. It seems to me that they've made the provisions a
I
little
really
bit
like
simple.
answering questions, so
Okay.
I
Corrine can't hear
like
me,
that
so
we're
that's-
putting some in the chat. It's fantastic.
Okay. Okay, there's some changes. It's important. If you've previously registered and there's been no change since the last election, you really don't have to worry. If you have moved, changed your registration, or anything else that has changed, then you need to contact the Board of Elections. And the website is the easiest way to do that. You can also go in person or use the phone, but they prefer you use the website. It's easier and faster, and you'll get a response much quicker also, I'm sure. Okay. If anybody else has questions, type them in the chat. We've got a couple minutes here yet. I do apologize again for the technical problems that we're having today. This program is brought to you today by AARP and Blue Ridge Pride Generation Plus as a community service. Okay, we seem to be, I don't see any other questions.
So thank you all. I know that it was a little odd being kind of one way here. Please ask questions. You can call our office at any time at 828-250-4200 to get more questions answered. You're welcome to email me. All of our contact information is on our website. And I really like doing these talks. So I'm sorry that I wasn't able to interact with you, but again, I really appreciate being here, and please reach out if you have more questions. Thank you, Bob and Brea.
Okay, thank you all for listening. We do apologize again for the technical difficulties. If you do have any questions, please contact the Board of Elections in the county that you live in. And until our next broadcast, I want to thank you all for tuning in.